friends, it's Miss Stevenson with you again this week with another art activity. And as you probably know, most of you know, this weekend coming up is Easter weekend. So some of you may be getting a visit from the Easter Bunny, and I thought maybe it would be a fun idea to do an Easter type activity with you this week. So you don't have to do the same shape that I'm doing this week. I'm doing an Easter shape, but you can make whatever kind of shape that you like. I'll show you how to do the art, and then you can make whatever kind of shape you want. Okay, so I am using tissue paper. So some of you may have, I always save tissue paper that I get with wrapping paper or presents. I save it for art or to reuse. Hopefully you have some of this around your house. If you do not, you can use regular construction paper as well. Regular colored paper will work too. Or you could use colored paper. You'll just have to color it first. Or white paper. You'll just have to color white paper first. All right. So normally at this time of year, for springtime and Easter time, normally we see lots and lots of bright colors. So those are the colors that I've chosen to use today. I've chosen to use bright colors. You can use whatever colors you want for your art, okay? So I have just some strips. You don't need a whole lot of tissue paper. You need a few different colors of paper. You don't need a lot of it. It can just be scraps. And I even found this fun one with pink polka dots on it, if you can see that. It doesn't really show up very well on the camera, but it's got some pink polka dots. It's pretty cute. So the first thing you need to do with your tissue paper is find the way that the piece of paper that you have will rip. Okay, all paper rips easily in one direction. Okay, so that's the direction that my paper rips easily. Okay, if I try to rip the other way, it doesn't really rip in a straight line. You'll figure it out pretty quickly which direction your paper rips. Okay, so I have a few orange pieces. Now I'd like blue, some nice bright blue. And it's really important this time not to use scissors. We want the edges to be kind of rough and uneven. We want them to look kind of natural. So that's why we're ripping today. Okay, and for the grown-ups that are helping you guys, doing things like ripping paper are actually really, really good for small fingers. They help us to build muscles, and there's no wrong way to do it. So it's kind of a fun, free thing for young people to try, because there's no right and there's no wrong. It just happens naturally. And they can play around and have a little bit of freedom that way. All right. Plus, it's really good for our small muscles in our hands. Okay. All right. So I've got my paper strips. And what I'm going to do now, let's see if I can bring this closer so that you can see. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some glue along the edge of my tissue paper strip. And it doesn't matter which colors you use. It doesn't matter which colors you glue down first. We're just gluing the paper strips together in a way that we like. That's it. You don't need to use too much glue. And if you use white glue for this, you'll want to put it aside to dry before you do the next step. Glue stick, you can do the whole thing at once, but if you use white glue, the runnier kind of glue, you'll want to put it aside to dry before you do the cutting part. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Okay. And you can even, I've got these little tiny strips here. I'm going to put them across to make it look a little bit more interesting. I don't know if you can see that. See, I put a little strip of paper across that way as well. You can overlap as much as you want. It's totally fine. Okay. I think I'm almost done. Now, how big and how small you do this is up to you. Maybe you don't have a whole lot of tissue paper, so you make yours smaller than mine. That's totally fine. All right. Now, for the next step, you may need a grown-up to help you, but I want you to try to draw a shape on this that you can cut out with scissors. Okay, so I'm going to draw. You'll see in a second. You can tell me what shape I drew. Do you see the shape? It's an Easter egg! I did an Easter egg. And this is kind of like a sun catcher that you can hang in your window, and when the sunshine goes through the tissue paper, it looks really, really pretty. So, like I said, if you use white runny glue, you'll want to put it aside before you do the cutting part. You won't be able to cut the paper, it'll be all wet and soggy, so you want to wait till it dries before you cut. And there you go. I cut on the line. There's my beautiful Easter egg. When I hang it in the window tomorrow, when the sun is shining, the sun will come through the tissue paper and it'll look so beautiful. I'm just going to take a pencil and poke a little hole. I have this kind of string to hang mine. You could hang yours in your window with tape if you're allowed to. You can use yarn or regular string to hang it up. You don't have to have the same kind of string as me. And the really great thing about these is both sides look different. So you might like that side, you might like that side. You can choose which way you hang it in your window. There you are. Now I wanted to show you another shape. I did another one. And like I said, not everybody celebrates Easter, so you could do a different kind of shape. Maybe you don't want to do an egg, maybe you want to do a heart. This one I made with tissue paper as well. And I just made my paper strips go the other direction. Isn't that cool? I also did this one to show what it looks like with regular construction paper. It looks just the same. You just won't have the light going through it the same way in the window. But this one I did a star. I ripped the paper. See how the edges are all uneven? But it gives a really, really neat effect, I think. I think it looks really cool. So you can try that with regular construction paper as well. Okay? There you are, friends. I hope you have a lot of fun. And maybe you'll play around and do a few different shapes. Maybe you'll think of shapes that I didn't think of. Who knows? Have a good time. Bye-bye.